Hi kids, it's Miss Liz here. We're going to try a new segment on the Warren Church of Christ page called Little Lessons with Miss Liz. So I'm going to start off my lesson kind of the same way I start off my lessons when we're together in the classroom. But instead of good morning or good evening or good afternoon, since I don't know what time of day you're going to watch this, I'm just going to say good day, students. And if you want to, you don't feel too weird, you can yell back, good day, Miss Liz. We'll try it. You ready? Good day, students. That's pretty good. Some of you did it, I'm sure. So anyway, I'm here at church today and I want to talk to you about gloves. Yes, gloves. I have some gloves with me here today. And gloves are really cool because gloves all have a job to do. So depending on the kind of gloves, it'll determine what kind of job they do. I have here some winter gloves. Now these warm winter gloves, their job is to keep your fingers warm and dry when you need to shovel snow or clean off your windshield for your car, or even when you want to have fun and go out and play in the snow. They have a job. That's to keep your hands warm. Then I have some gardening gloves. Now gardening gloves are really important if you want to keep your hands safe and clean when you're working in the garden. So if you need to pull up some prickly weeds, you don't want to get prickles in your fingers, so you might wear some gardening gloves. Okay, now I have these gloves. Now these gloves are meant to keep your hands clean. So if you need to take out the trash, or if you need to change somebody's bandage, or if you're just serving up food and you want to keep your hands clean and you want to keep other things clean, you might wear gloves like this. Now, I have some of these gloves at home. These are dishwashing gloves or cleaning gloves. So they've even got some bumpy texture on them so that when you're washing your slippery dishes, they don't fall down and they keep your hands from getting all pruny. So all of these gloves have a job to do. But, you know, they kind of need something. So what if I did this? What if I said, gardening gloves, go pull the weeds? Well, come on, go pull the weeds. Don't be so stubborn. You need to go out and pull the weeds, you silly gardening gloves. They're not going to do it, are they? The gloves are missing something. They're missing the power of the hands inside the gloves. I've got a helper to help me out and show you this. Come here, Autumn. See, I'm going to tell Autumn to put these gloves on her. She's going to partner with the gloves. One glove, two gloves. See, now the gloves have the power of the fingers inside. Now I can say, gloves and Autumn, go pull the weeds in the garden.
Okay, Mom.
Thumbs up. And then the gloves can go do the job that they're supposed to do because they had the power of the hands inside. So kind of like gloves, we're all actually given a job to do. So what job am I talking about? Let me go back a little and explain. Okay, last week, if you tuned in and listened to the church service, we had the Easter story. So if you didn't listen in, or if maybe you don't remember all the Easter story, let me give you a quick recap. See, we heard about Jesus and how he died on the cross and came back to life. So who is Jesus? Well, Jesus is God's son. He's part of the Trinity of God, and he was the one who was here at the very beginning of the world, who spoke the world into being. And when the time was just right, God was able to unravel his plan for correcting all the sin and the pain in the world. See, sin, all the bad things we do that don't line up with God's way, they cause problems. Sin causes separation from God and others. And eventually, in the Bible, it says that the price you have to pay for sin is death. Now, that doesn't mean that every time you do something bad, you get zapped and you die. No, but it means spiritual death. That if we never pay the price, or we never get the sins that the price for the sins that we have cleaned up, then we're separated from God forever. And that's spiritual death. So now, before Jesus came along, God had made a way for his people in Israel to kind of make up for the sins that they had done. That something else could take the price, the punishment for their sins. And so he had them sacrifice animals. He would take an innocent, perfect little lamb or animal, and they would kill it. And that would take the punishment that they deserved for their sin. But see, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't permanent. Every year, they'd have to go back to the temple and do it all over again because they would have sinned again. And it wasn't really what God intended to be the perfect thing to help take care of the sins that we had. See, now, when the time was exactly right, God sent his son Jesus to come to the earth. And we know how he was born. He was born in a manger, and he lived a perfect life, and he actually was able to teach here on earth. He did everything exactly the way God wanted him to. He showed us what God was like. And then, after he had taught people about God, the time came for him to do the second part of his job, which was to take the punishment for all the bad things that we would ever do, that we'd ever done. So Jesus died on the cross, and all the punishment for the sins of the world were laid on him. See, Jesus didn't stay dead, did he? No, 3 days later, Jesus rose from the dead, and that defeated sin and death forever for everybody that would ever believe in Jesus. And he actually spent 40 days after he came back to life, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So during those 40 days on earth, he visited his friends and his disciples, and he appeared to over 500 people so that people would know for sure he had come back from the dead. They could touch the places where the nails had been in his hands, and they could talk to him and see him, and he was real and alive. And he taught his disciples some really important lessons, the stuff he needed to make sure they understood before he went back to heaven with God. And part of that was he gave them a job to do, kind of like gloves have a job to do. He gave them a job to do. It's called the Great Commission, and maybe you've heard it before. It goes like this. He said, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me." And so then he told them, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. And then teach them to observe all I've commanded you. And behold, I am with you always, even to the end of the age." Now, he gave his disciples a job to do, but he also gave them the power they needed to do that job, kind of like the hands in the glove. That power comes from the Holy Spirit. So, if you're a follower of Jesus, this job is for you. You are included in the Great Commission. You're supposed to go into the world, make disciples. That means share the good news and help other people learn to know about God and to love and follow him. And you have the power to do it because believers in God, when they get baptized, they have the Holy Spirit living inside them. And that gives them the power, just like the gloves now have a hand inside, to do the job. So how can you do this job? And where are you supposed to do this job? See, I picked the map to sit in front of on purpose because the world's a really big place. And especially right now, we aren't doing a whole lot of going. We might be doing a lot of doing at home, but we're not doing a lot of going. But that's okay, because you've got a whole life ahead of you to go and do. So let's think about it for just a minute. How can you, in your life, go and share the good news about God and make disciples of other people? Well, let's say it's school. I bet there are people in your classroom right now who don't know the good news about Jesus. And when they have questions about big things that happen in their life, things they don't understand, you can share with them about God and about his plan for the world. You might give them a Bible or invite them to come to Stepping Stones or Step Up with you. I bet you have some friends, maybe on a basketball team or a baseball team, a gymnastics team, or just some kids you hang out with in the neighborhood who don't know the good news about God. Well, you can share it with them. You might even have family members who've never heard the good news about Jesus and who God is and all the things that he wants for them. And so as you go out about your life, you get to share the good news of Jesus. And maybe someday you'll even get to travel through the whole world and share it with some other people. And I hope you think about that. And I was so excited to share this lesson with you, and I hope to see you again soon. And I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.